Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my Nostalgic Places series. In the last video, we went through some of my most memorable places in Varrock. In this video, we will make one last stop in that city, then go through some other cities in free-to-play. Let's get started. Cooking Guild. I love coming here. When I was a new player and I just gotten 40 cooking, I would just love getting here because it just felt like I was part of something that not everyone was. You know, I had exclusive access to a club that not everyone in the game could access, and I would just love coming up here and just making apple pies pretty much over and over and over again. I just thought it was really intriguing, you know? Not because I actually needed food for training or anything, just because I like the act of skilling. Being around when Edgeville PKing was super popular and active was pretty awesome. While I usually didn't have the patience to level any of my peers past 20 or 30 combat, I was still able to get my share of the fun. It was crazy walking into the wilderness with so many other players fighting. I remember very clearly that going past level 6 or 7 wild meant pretty much death. Mostly because there were so many teams and higher level players could attack you and all that. Also because it's 3 rounds of combat, the chances of you getting KO'd with melee was pretty high. Add rangers to that, and yep, you'd be lucky to even see the castle itself. Dark Wizards was, in my opinion, by far the most fun place to train up here in RSC. The rune drops are great, which included nature and law runes, both highly valued in F2P at the time. The experience was alright, but the best benefit was the ability to fight other players in between training. I liked that there was the opportunity to PK someone my level, and I often did. Whenever I would train here though, I would definitely get the chills. Fallenor always seemed like an incomplete city. Huge, tons of space, but so few buildings in it. One of the most interesting things about it to me were the White Knights. They were the highest level NPC I had ever encountered at the time, so I spent a lot of time trying to kill them, hoping for some rare drop that I could sell for money. I think the most nostalgic areas of the city for me were the East Bank and the Castle Moat, and basically the vast amount of empty space in this town. Port Sarim was an interesting town. I would come here a lot to buy black battle axes for my peers since they hit harder than the black two-handers, and also the two-handers were generally pretty hard to come by and free to play. Also, the magic shop was pretty much where I bought all my runes back in the day. Other than that, Port Sarim was just kind of a cute town. In the Lumbrin Swamp, far southeast of Draenor, there was an area with 5 or 6 coal rocks that was really popular and free to play. I remember spending hour after hour there, mining coal with my adamant pickaxe and banking as much as I could, so that I could sort the coal and sell it for ruby amulets and R2Hs. I would write out all my plans on paper if I was at school or I couldn't play at a certain time. Ruby amulets were 5k and rune two-handers were 50k, and I believe coal sold for 200 to 300 each, which would be maybe 1,000 per cert. So I would come up with how many coal certs I would need to buy maybe 5 amulets and 2 R2Hs, and I would spend the entire weekend mining so I could get those items. It was crazy, but pretty rewarding. Draenor was always an interesting spot to check up on. I visited it frequently for fishing, mining, and questing. The shrimp fishing spots south of the bank would always be the first place I would go when I started a new account. Gotta get those cooking levels. I do remember it being a hot spot for players in free-to-play. I think people mostly came here to cert things, work on a quest, or get some dyes made. Otherwise, it wasn't that popular. One interesting memory comes from 2005. In free-to-play, the game was completely botted at the time, and all popular training spots were taken. And by that, I literally mean all, on every world. To level up here during this time was extremely difficult, so a couple times I actually found myself killing level 2 rats and spiders in the houses of Draenor Village. Nice, 11 strength achieved. Last but not least, one of my most nostalgic memories from Runescape Classic is killing NPCs in El Kharid on the first PKer I had ever made. I remembered so crystal clearly that I was using this exact equipment. Full iron, steel 2H, and a green cape. That account wasn't exactly pure, but had a high enough strength level to PK with, and had a combat level of around 10 to 14. I don't remember why I chose this training spot, but one thing I do remember is that I had a lot of fun walking around and training in this town. Well, that's all for this episode of Nostalgic Places. Let me know if you liked this video, and if so, I'll record more of these classic scenes. Peace!